Hey guys, so today we're going to be making a plastic rose made from plastic spoons. What you're going to need for this tutorial is you're going to need some plastic spoons, whatever color you want. You're going to need a candle with a lighter so that you can light it, a pair of scissors, a hot glue gun, and you will need a pair of tweezers. For young children, make sure that you have adult supervision for making this project, especially when you're working around the candle, as well as the hot glue gun. First, you're going to want to make sure that you preheat your hot glue gun and light your candle so that it starts to burn. Begin your plastic rose by heating the inside of your spoon. And you just want to heat it in enough so that you can warp it, not enough to melt it. Curl the sides in. This is going to be the middle of your flower. And then once you've formed your first middle of your flower, you're going to want to heat up right at the end of the spoon, right before the stick, just hot enough so that you can move it. And then you're going to cut off the stem of the spoon. You're going to want to do this again for your second spoon to form the other side of the middle of your flower, just heating up the inside just enough that you can move the spoon and warp it as you wish, not enough to actually melt the spoon, and then just sort of start curling it inward, the sides inward. And once you get a good form that you like, go ahead and heat the end of the spoon again, just enough that you can move it, and then cut off the stem of the spoon. Then you want to take both of your petals that you just made, and we're going to form the center of the flower by putting them together as such. So we're going to want to kind of form them this way. This is really up to personal preference, how you want your rose to be, if you want the center to be more closed or more open. And you just want to take some glue from your hot glue gun and just kind of glue it to where the other petal would stick or would lay. And then just take the other one and glue them together so that they stay. And there's your center of your rose. And then you're just going to want to set that aside to let the glue set. Now we're going to start making some petals, and by doing this we're going to have the spoon facing upward like you would for eating. And you just kind of want to heat up the end of the spoon so that we can start forming them to look somewhat like petals. Again, don't get too close to the flame that you want to melt the spoon, but enough to get it heated so that you can warp the spoon. And as it starts to heat up, you can pull it out with your fingers, or if it's too hot for you, you can even use tweezers if the heat is too much for you. And you just want to do this by forming at the end of the spoon so that you get your petals. You just want to kind of form this so that you have somewhat of a petal shape. And remember, all petals are going to look different because no flower is the same. So it doesn't matter if your petals aren't exactly perfect. Alright. And then once you get the shape of the petal that you like, go ahead and heat the end of the spoon again. Just enough that it'll start moving. Just enough that it's starting to melt, that way you can easily cut off the stem of the spoon. And there you have your first actual petal. And take that first petal that you just formed and see where you want it to fit to the center of your flower. And then once you figure out where you want to put it, take some hot glue and just put some hot glue on the center of the flower where you want your petal to go. And then take your petal and fit it to the center of your flower. and then set it aside so the glue will set, and then continue making petals, and then you just want to keep making your petals as you want to form them, and then just keep gluing them around in any arrangement, and then eventually it will start to get a flower. After each petal that you glue on, you may want to heat up the ends at the bottom of your flower where your petals are glued together to kind of melt them inwards and flatten them down to the rest of the structure of the flower. So you want to do that by not getting too close to the flame, but just close enough that it'll heat the plastic. And then once it's heated enough, I usually take the top of the candle lid, and I like to use that as a flat surface to kind of bend the plastic down and warp it down soft, like to flatten it. But that's really up to you if you would like to do that. I usually do that. Okay. And that's just so that it makes a smoother edge at the bottom. So continue on with the petals. Any petals that get cracked or burned, you can just discard. As you get to the further out layers of your rose, you're going to want to start forming your petals to go more outward. And to do this, you just want to heat your spoon. You just want to kind of make sure when you're forming your petal to pull it more backwards. That way the petals will stick more outward and it'll look more like a rose. So when you put it up to your flower, the petals will stick out even more. So continue to do that, making your outer layers of petals go out more so that they form more of a rose shape. So once you have all your petals glued on and arranged as you wanted them to be arranged, you will have your plastic rose. So I hope you guys enjoyed that craft today, and I hope you come back next week for another one. Bye!